Hello world, I'm Johnny Littletoe, and this is my mining setup for the time being. It's kind of ridiculous. It's not what I would particularly recommend. Oh, shit. Sorry. However, this is currently mining ethereum, 3 cards in this machine, and then if we move over here, we have 4 cards running here. Now, a problem I ran into, which is why there's only 4 cards here, because it has enough slots. You can see in there different slots it has. So a problem I ran into when building my machine was when I put in the 5th card, it stopped booting. So that's apparently a common issue that can be solved if you can reconfigure your cards within the system itself. But I've been having a heck of a time because this machine here runs Linux and my other machine runs Windows. And Linux is very difficult to make any changes on, which is odd considering it's typically considered the most open system. I mean, it depends on the flavor. I'm using Xubuntu myself. Got a little screen for it over there. But yeah, it's a complete mess. However, this has been running straight for probably 3 weeks without issue. Earlier on, the PSU was getting a bit hot, which concerned me because I recently burnt out my main computer's PSU, partly because it wasn't ventilated, partly because it wasn't, it was old, and, ventilated, yeah, so there wasn't enough air to cool it off. The fan was kind of obstructed because my computer's, I think it just built up too much dust. And within the PSU itself, it had been running without being really properly cleaned out for years. So when it burned out, I took it out and I took the, hoping to save it. It's kaput completely. Hoping to save it, I tried to blow it out. Wow, I'm having one of those days. And yeah, a ton of dust came out. So I didn't realize that my regular computer blowing outness, whatever, wasn't really doing the PSU much good. So learn from that. It was an old cheap one anyways, and wasn't quite powerful enough for my requirements. Let's go back over to this one. So I got this new Evga. My old one was bronze certified. This one's gold, and it's 100 watts more to help cover the overclocking that I'll be doing. I've been overclocking my GeForce here for a while. For those of you that haven't used it, the GeForce 1070 is actually really good for mining Ethereum. If you are looking for a gaming PC that you can mine casually on, because of course the GeForce series is far more expensive compared to the RX series, and these are RX 470s I'm running. There's one more in my second my mining rig, this being my main computer. Big ol' 4K screen that's connected to. Man, this is a mess. This actually reminds me a lot of Soma. If you haven't seen that game, there's a playthrough on my channel here. But yeah, lots of chords and crazy, dangerous-looking stuff. I should actually carefully inch this back. Lots of fans. Makes a lot of heat. A lot of heat in my room. Makes sleeping a little bit difficult at times. But hey, it's money. It's pretty good money too. This all pays the rent, which is nice. But yeah, I very much look forward to having a little bit more space to myself, an extra room where I can put all this stuff and maybe expand. I wouldn't mind putting together another machine if it's still worth it in a few months or whatever. But yeah, so that is my mining setup. This gets pretty hot still. Actually, it's not too bad. Part of it is probably just the fact that if the air conditioning isn't on in the house, this room gets really hot, so it can't cool down properly. However, I've got it kind of sticking out like that because it needs a little bit of extra airflow, and the bottom of my computer has a filter, which is great for keeping dust out. However, I think that filter is getting clogged, and I don't really feel like dealing with that right away, so makeshift solution for now. Anyway, for those curious, I am running, so my main card here is GeForce 1070 EVGA, or EVGA, however you pronounce that. Just got it's actually, I like the simple things. I like how my power supply now matches. However, over on the right here we have two 2 terabyte hard drives that I use just for random storage. Precariously balanced and totally not done proper. I can't remember. I think that might be my boot drive. My right here. So I've got 2 solid state drives. The other one's in this encasing here. And I think for some reason the more precariously situated one is my boot drive. I don't know. There's one slot for SSD in here, which is why. But there's only the one slot. This is my Blu-ray drive, which I just got just because I was buying a whole bunch of mining stuff, so I decided, I'll get a Blu-ray drive. My CD drive recently, a CD exploded in my CD drive, completely ruining it. Or not necessarily, it still opens. I did clean out the CD drive, so it might still work. I just don't have much of a use for it because my mining machine doesn't really need it. So I've got oh yeah, of course, all this graphics card stuff running, and this is absolutely cool. My CPU doesn't get used a whole lot. I'm running an 830, FX 830. I'm a total AMD fan when it comes to processors. Definitely plan on upgrading to Ryzen once it's warranted. I've got almost no reason to right now. Everything I do, from making videos to mining, are all GPU intensive. I've run into a couple of games that are so-so, but I mean, the 8030, was it? I can't remember. That line of processors was great a few years back and is still doing really well. What else do we have? I guess over back to my other machine. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a wired connection in here. I'm trying to ratify that and upgrade to Simple Miner. So both of my machines have little antennas sticking out the back. I'm running a Celeron processor in here. Nothing fancy. The motherboard's actually really nice. It's got at least one USB 3.1, which is crazy fast if you've got something that supports it. I didn't want to get a new Intel card chip for my main computer, which is why I'm not using this one, but it's very tempted to upgrade my motherboard with all of the bells and whistles that come with them these days. Yeah, I think so. These three cards that are, once again, precariously sitting around in a way that I really shouldn't. Sometimes the connections even come a little bit loose, but they're working fine for now. I've actually got, so future video for certain is me putting together my homemade wooden rig. Oh, Twitch is coming to say hi. Hey, Twitch. Yeah. So, yeah, I made a wooden rig. I just need to get a starter for it, and then all of this is going to be moved over. Probably along with the other extra cards. The GeForce is, of course, staying in my main computer, but I'd like to get more cards, but beyond them being sold out everywhere, the heat is just, like, this is the absolute maximum. When the air conditioning isn't running, it gets to almost 40 degrees in here, which is harsh. Very harsh. Anyway, that's my setup at the moment. I will probably periodically put up updates, but hopefully you enjoyed. Any questions, concerns, queries, conundrums, put them down in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.